Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going deep into the book of Echotruth.
Oh yeah, this one it's definitely a unique one.
It really is a blend of spirituality and prophecy and well, some pretty bold claims about, where humanity's headed.
It kind of throws a lot of conventional wisdom out the window.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about reincarnation but over billions of years, not just, a few lifetimes.
Right, right. And it gets pretty specific too. Like it talks about a shadowy ruling class controlling things.
Yeah. And it even lays out like a guide to navigating these laws of creation they talk about. So much to unpack here, but I guess maybe a good place to start is this whole Age of Aquarius thing.
Yeah.
The book claims humanity's transitioning into this new era, a time of massive change. And it says it began, I think, when the sun started rising in Aquarius during the vernal equinox.
Yeah. That whole concept of astrological ages, it's been around forever. I mean, Echotruth really leans into it, suggesting it directly impacts everything we do. Not everyone buys into that, of course.
Yeah. No, definitely not. But a lot of people do find it, I don't know, resonant or something.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's a belief system that, speaks to a lot of people.
And Echotruth claims this Age of Aquarius is a period of huge potential, but also a lot of upheaval.
Right.
It even tries to offer guidance on dealing with the challenges, right? I'm wondering, do you see any of this playing out in the world right now? Are we actually in this period of such crazy transformation?
Well, I mean, just look around. Think about how fast technology is changing. Social injustices are coming to light. The whole world's interconnected now.
Yeah.
All that points to some pretty big shifts. It could be, part of what this astrological age is all about.
Okay, so maybe there is something to this Age of Aquarius idea, but let's dive into some of the really, mind-bending stuff, like what this book says about the human spirit. It actually says our spirits are fragments of what it calls creation.
Right, yeah, and they reside in our brain.
In our brains, yeah.
Not just anywhere, though. It specifically says the parietal cortex, and get this, it says the spirit's tiny, like pinhead-sized.
Wow.
But incredibly powerful. It's what fuels every single cell in our body.
That is wild. And it says the whole purpose of our existence is for these spirit fragments to evolve over tons of lifetimes until eventually they reach perfection and merge back with creation.
Exactly. And this is where it gets even more interesting. Because they say this whole process takes 60 to 80 billion years.
60 to 80 billion.
Way longer than the universe is even supposed to be old.
I mean, that's just such a mind-boggling timescale. What does that even mean? To strive for perfection over, I don't know, such an unimaginable amount of time. Does it change, I don't know, how we view progress and achievement in our current lives? Does any of it even matter?
Those are some great questions. It really makes you rethink how we usually think about time and spiritual evolution. Echotruth seems to be saying our understanding of time might be, well, pretty limited.
Okay, so we're on this cosmic journey of self-discovery over, eons. But what about our personalities, all our individual quirks and flaws? How does that fit into this idea of eternal spirits on a quest for perfection?
Well, Echotruth makes a distinction between, the spirit and what it calls consciousness. It says the spirit is eternally pure, healthy, but consciousness, which includes personality, the ego, our experiences, all that, that's what can be affected by, mental illness and negative thinking.
So you're saying our personalities aren't part of our eternal essence?
That's what Echotruth suggests, yeah.
That's pretty wild. And what about that idea of a higher self within our consciousness that can access future events? It's it explains why we might feel like we've met someone before, even though we haven't, Does Echotruth give any evidence for that?
Well, the book goes into this whole concept of intuition.
Right.
And suggests that this higher self can tap into a way of knowing that, goes beyond our usual linear way of perceiving time. It's not presented as scientific fact or anything, but more hey, this is an interesting possibility to consider.
It definitely challenges how we normally think about reality.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about those laws of creation. Echotruth really emphasizes those a lot. It describes them as being kind of natural laws, like gravity.
Right. Yeah.
But they have moral and spiritual implications.
Yeah, it's think of it this way. Gravity, it governs how objects interact in the physical world. Right? The laws of creation, they're governing how we interact with the universe on a deeper level, like an energetic level.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about love, harmony, balance, truth.
So it's not just following rules, but aligning our actions and intentions with these universal principles, right?
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, like, what happens if we don't align ourselves with these laws? Are there consequences, like some kind of I don't know, cosmic karma or something?
Well, according to Echotruth, when we go against these laws,
Yeah.
we create disharmony,
Yeah.
not just in ourselves, but in the whole world around us.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Now, the book also talks about prophets throughout history. Like, they've been guides to these laws of creation, right?
Yeah.
But wouldn't that mean, like, prophets are somehow above the laws, or at least, like, exempt from them? How can someone guide others if they're bound by the same rules? You know what I mean?
That's a good question. But Echotruth doesn't say prophets are above the laws of creation.
Oh.
It portrays them more as people who've reached a really deep understanding of these principles,
Mm-hmm.
and they're really in alignment with them.
So, like, they're more like role models, exemplars,
Yeah.
showing us what's possible when we live in harmony with these universal laws.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But in a world where, you know, anyone can just say they're a prophet or a spiritual guide,
Yeah.
how do we tell the difference between the real deal and someone who's, I don't know, just trying to get power or something, you know?
That's a really important question. And Echotruth acknowledges that, it's hard to figure out what's true in a world with so much conflicting information. It suggests we look for consistency between their words and their actions.
Right. So look beyond, like, charisma and all that.
Yeah. And see if they're actually living what they're preaching, and do they want to empower people or control them?
Right. That makes sense. Okay, so Echotruth also lists these 7 traits of a truth seeker.
Oh, yeah, I remember those.
So there's curiosity, open-mindedness, critical thinking, consistent understanding of truth, a belief in the link between truth and goodness, commitment to seeking truth for the right reasons, and resilience in the face of adversity. Out of all those, which ones do you think are the most important in today's world?
That's tough. They're all kind of tied together,
Yeah.
But I guess in a world where we're bombarded with information, being able to think critically
Right.
and tell truth from lies, that's crucial.
Yeah.
And resilience, too. Because seeking truth, it can be tough. You got to be willing to face uncomfortable stuff and even question your own beliefs.
Yeah, that's true. You know, it's funny, though. Echotruth takes a bit of a surprising turn here. It claims that humans aren't inherently evil. We learn negative traits through our experiences, you know?
Really?
Yeah, and it ties that to what it calls the warrior gene. It says it was super important for survival back in the day, but now in modern times it might be misdirected.
Interesting. It kind of gets into that whole nature versus nurture debate, doesn't it?
Exactly, and saying that we're not just like puppets of our genes, you know. We have the power to choose how we respond to our environment, and we can cultivate, like, good qualities, even if we might have inherited some tendencies that could lead us down a bad path, so to speak.
That's a pretty empowering message, isn't it? Like, we have more control over our destiny than we might think.
Yeah, I like that. But unfortunately, Echotruth doesn't shy away from some pretty dark predictions about the future either. It's like a warning, you know, that if we keep straying from the laws of creation, we're looking at, you know, environmental devastation.
Oh, wow.
Societal collapse, escalating violence, loss of freedom. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, it's definitely a wake-up call.
It is.
Makes you think.
Yeah.
It paints a pretty grim picture, that's for sure.
Yeah, you mentioned some pretty disturbing stuff there before, you know, like environmental devastation, societal collapse, loss of freedom. I'm kind of curious about this shadowy ruling class Echotruth talks about. It claims they're, like, actively working to suppress the truth and manipulate people for their own gain. How do they think that's going to happen? And are there, like, any signs of that actually going on in the world right now?
Well, the book says this group is, like, really embedded in powerful positions, you know. They're influencing governments, the media, even religious institutions. It's pretty deep.
Wow.
And they use, like, propaganda and misinformation, fear, to control the narrative and keep people from, you know, questioning things.
So it's like a subtle kind of control operating, you know, behind the scenes.
Right, exactly.
It almost sounds like a conspiracy theory or something. Does Echotruth give any, like, concrete examples of how they're actually doing this, like manipulating events or influencing people?
It doesn't get into specifics or name names, but it suggests that They exploit people's desires, for comfort, security, belonging, and use those to manipulate their beliefs and behaviors.
Yeah.
It also points to like how wealth and power are concentrated in the hands of just a few people, and how much influence media and technology have on our thoughts and actions now.
It definitely makes you stop and think about the information we're exposed to every day, and who might be, pulling the strings. But let's maybe shift gears a bit. Talk about this path to redemption Echotruth lays out. It says we can avoid this dystopian future if we align ourselves with the laws of creation, right?
Right.
But what does that even look like in real life? It seems kind of abstract,
Yeah, it's definitely more than just like following rules or a dogma.
Yeah.
Echotruth says it's about personal introspection, connecting with our own inner wisdom, and developing a deep understanding of those universal principles we talked about before.
Yeah.
Love, harmony, balance, truth.
So it's about cultivating a way of being, right? A way of living that's in sync with those principles.
Exactly.
Yeah. But how do we actually do that? Connect with that inner wisdom and make choices that are aligned with those ideals. I mean, in our everyday lives,
Well, the book offers some practical guidance, though it does say the path is different for everyone. It emphasizes things like meditation, introspection, connecting with nature,
right,
and seeking out knowledge and wisdom from different sources. It also encourages us to become active truth seekers, question everything, be willing to let go of beliefs and behaviors that aren't serving us anymore.
Real spiritual authority isn't about like controlling people or forcing them to believe certain things.
Definitely not. It's about empowering people, helping them connect with their own inner wisdom, and to live according to those universal principles: love, harmony, balance, truth.
Yeah, it's about guiding, not dictating. It almost seems like Echotruth is encouraging a more individual approach to spirituality, one that really values personal experience and trusting your own intuition.
Yeah, that's a good point. It definitely cautions against just blindly following any external authority. It's like we have to develop our own ability to think critically, to discern what's true for ourselves.
Yeah, be willing to question things, even beliefs that are like widely accepted. Challenge the status quo a little bit.
Absolutely. Echotruth, says blind faith, without questioning, can lead to stagnation, to being manipulated. We have to be active in our search for truth, always asking questions, always exploring, always trying to understand things on a deeper level.
It's a call to like really engage with the world and with our own beliefs, not just passively accept things, right? Echotruth is basically saying the pursuit of truth, it's a journey, not a destination. It's ongoing.
That's a great way to put it. And it sounds like Echotruth is saying we should embrace that journey with courage, curiosity, and an open mind. Definitely. The book acknowledges seeking truth can be tough. It can be uncomfortable even.
Yeah.
But it leads to greater freedom, fulfillment, and meaning in the end.
It's about breaking free from those limitations, right? Yeah. Embracing a much bigger, a more expansive view of ourselves and of the universe.
Exactly.
Wow, this deep dive into the book of Echotruth, it's been quite a ride. We've covered so much. Astrological ages, the human spirit, what the future might hold for humanity. It's a lot.
It really is. And it's a book that really makes you think.
Yeah.
It challenges your assumptions, makes you look at things from different angles. And ultimately, I think it encourages us to engage with the world in a more conscious and meaningful way.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a lot to think about, that's for sure. And even though some of the predictions might seem, kind of dark or scary, Echotruth does offer a message of hope and empowerment.
Absolutely.
It reminds us that we have a choice in how we respond to all the challenges that are out there, and that even small acts of, love, kindness, truth, they can make a difference.
It's a reminder that we're not just watching history happen. We're a part of creating it with every choice we make.
And that's pretty powerful, isn't it? To realize we have that kind of influence.
It is. It's a call to action, really, to step into our power, embrace our potential, and contribute to the evolution of consciousness however we can.
Well said. And with that, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into the book of Echotruth. We hope you found this exploration thought-provoking, and we encourage you to keep going on your own journey, seek your own truth, and live in a way that aligns with your deepest values and aspirations.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.